Karmic lunar nodes in Aries and Libra from July 18, 2023 to January 12, 2025. What this period will bring. On July 18, a new social cycle begins. On this day, the lunar nodes change the axis of the signs of the zodiac. The ascending node enters the sign of Aries, and the descending node, respectively, enters the sign of the zodiac Libra. Bonnie Horoscope is with you. Daily and unique predictions. We begin. Lunar nodes characterize social processes and public moods. In the previous 1.5 years, from January 18, 22 to July 17, 23, they moved along the axis of resources and transformations Taurus, Scorpio. At this time, cardinal changes took place throughout the world through destruction, after which updates will soon follow. The mood in the society is changing. Otherwise, the systems of international relations are being built. The rotation cycle of the lunar nodes averages 18 years, which makes their speed rather slow compared to personal planets. The ascending lunar node is associated with Jupiter, called in astrology the benefic planet. The descending lunar node is energetically similar to the influence of Saturn, the planet of great misfortune. This name is very conditional. But Saturn always requires self-restraint, patience, punctuality. It's just that a person is arranged in such a way that where there is responsibility, norms, rules, this is not comfortable. Karmic lunar nodes emphasize general concepts and phenomena, without showing a specific personality, image or character trait. This feature of the interpretation of the lunar nodes is complemented by their fictitiousness. The absence of mass, as a real celestial body, is described not by form or materiality, but by a general characteristic. Ancient astrologers noticed that eclipses of the sun and moon occur at certain points in the sky, which do not remain in place, but move over time according to a certain law, most of the time retrograde, against the movement of the sun. Figurative thinking, brought up on myths, saw at these 2 points and in their direction of movement, the head and tail of the heavenly dragon. It is interesting that in both the Indian and European traditions, despite their obvious difference and geographical remoteness, we are talking about a dragon or a snake. The node in which the moon, crossing the ecliptic, heading from the southern hemisphere to the northern, is called the north or rising, aka the dragon's head or Rahu. The symbol of the north node resembles a V. The ascending north node shows the efforts that a person needs to make in order to determine his future. Manifesting his north node, a person creates his individuality and strengthens his conscious development. This is symbolically indicated by the fact that in the northern hemisphere the moon tends to the sun. The descending south node is the path traveled. It becomes more and more significant, tangible, increases as we move towards the ascending node. The path traveled is something familiar, and although not always pleasant, it is more or less mastered. Past experience associated with the descending node forms the basis, the foundation for moving forward. But it can also be a burden, slow down or pull back, interfere with moving forward. The stream, or river of life, in real circumstances is represented by a certain direction given by the circumstances of life, sometimes by a social current, by a group of people with which a person relates himself. In the south node, the moon symbolically turns its back on solar influence and enters the zone of materiality. Static. The properties of the axes or pairs of signs of the zodiac clearly manifest themselves. This feature and the relationship of signs opposite in quality is justified by the same components. The planets that form the structure of opposite signs. The proportions and quantity of this or that energy manifested by the planets determine the distinctive features of each sign. Ascending node in Aries. Descending node in Libra in the period from July 18, 2023 to January 12, 2025 will help to find a common language with partners, both in personal life and on the scale of interstate diplomatic relations. The world is going through another stage on the path of improvement. The previous transits of this position of the karmic lunar nodes along the Aries-Libra axis are as follows. 707.1930 to 27.1219312.01.1949 to 26.07.195020.08.1967 to 20.04.196909.05 1986 to 312.198726 12.2004. The 22nd of June 2006. In the next 1.5 years, serious geopolitical changes will take place. New leaders and dominant countries will appear. New alliances will be formed, which will entail a redistribution of centers of power between different states and Karmic lunar nodes along the axis of relationships make you take into account the interests of other people, nations, cultures and traditions. Respect their desires and choices. This is a period when each of us develops the ability to give in, to compromise, but without dissolving in another person, but preserving our individuality. Only in this case can balance be achieved, both in personal life and in the whole world. The ascending node in Aries, in the first sign of the zodiac, calls for learning to be independent and decisive, to set the impulse yourself, show will and act, learn to refuse, not to go on about someone else's will. It is during the period of such a transit that one can realize the correctness or incorrectness of one's path. But this is possible only through the people we meet on our life path. Since these people, in fact, reflect our karmic tasks. Since the ascending node operates on the principle of Jupiter, we can expect expansion in areas related to the sign of Aries. Sports, military affairs and the development of modern weapons. The work of special services, defense production, and the metallurgical industry. First of all, these are new undertakings. The formation of completely new associations, military alliances, with the aim of strengthening defense against aggressive states. The descending lunar node influences according to the strict rules of Saturn, i.e. puts causal circumstances into action, raises karmic themes. Saturn is the lord of time, the strict teacher. This planet does not give concessions. Unlike Jupiter, it often limits actions, creates obstacles and delays. The descending node in Libra activates previously unresolved issues in the area of partnerships and international relations. The transit of the lunar nodes along the axis Aries, Libra, first of all, will have a strong influence on the representatives of the same signs of the zodiac. Also, if personal planets, the moon and other important elements of the horoscope are in Aries or Libra, then your life will not be the same after the completion of this transit. That's all we have. Subscribe and don't miss our daily and unique releases from Bonnie Horoscope. See you soon.